This is Alan Allen's Lonely Bookshelf. Here with the bookshelf tour. We got some that are scattered uh, in front of me. And so this will be, the light is not that bad today as it has been. The sun is going on the other side. So let's get started. The first one is Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds by Charles McKay. It's put out by Noonday Publications. I have not read this one. It first was published. It's by a division of Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. Original illustrations from editions of 1841 and 1852. And then here is the Fast Meal cover from 1841. This is the 22nd printing, 1974. And it is the one that was 1852. And let me read you the back here. Apollo Scheller once said, anyone taken as an individual is tolerable, sensible, and reasonable as a member of the crowd. He at once becomes a blockhead. Extraordinary Popular Delusions is a fascinating study of the crowd psychology and mass manias. Casebook of human folly through the ages, including our full accounts of the Mississippi scheme that swept France, 1720, the South Sea bubble that ruined thousands in England, including that was including George Friedrich Handel. At the same time, and the tulip mania in Holland, whose fortunes were made and lost on the single tulip bulb. You have alchemy, philosopher's stone, Rosicrucians, philosophy of Judgment Day, the cross coming in comets, astrology, necromancy, Father Hell, and magnetism. Sorcery, burning of witches, the traffic of relics, popularity of murder by slow poisoning, ghosts and haunted castles. And so, it's just extraordinary popular delusions and madness crowds. The next one is I should have the next three on the top shelf up here, my Russian history, and this is a journey from St. Petersburg to Moscow by Alexander Radishchev, translated by Andrei Kahn. And this is it's among the most important pieces of writing come out of Russia in the age of Catherine the Great. Oh, come on now. An account of a fictional journey along the postal route and blends literary philosophy, political economy to expose social and economic injustice and the causes at every level of Russian society. And this one first came out, published by Columbia University Press. I'll see a date on here. 2020. It was very short. So this was 2020. And this one was the journey from St. Petersburg to Moscow. Then this one I have read, and this is a very good book. In fact, it's by this gentleman here, Vladimir Solovyev, who wrote The Justification of the Good. And he won a Nobel Prize for Literature. This is called War and Christianity. And from the Russian point of view, 3 conversations by Vladimir Solovyev with introduction by Stephen Graham. This book first came out in first edition 1915, and this is printed. This printing was in 2007, and on the back here it describes three main trends in his time: economic materialism, Tolstoyan abstract moralism, and the kind of hubris that has grown rampant in contemporary society. For him, over the century, the first was all too present and about to explode in the rise of the communist state. A hollow moralism, or a meaning with no core, was beginning to develop and would soon replace all vestige of traditional values, and hubris, greed, and evil, well disguised as good. This is the touchstone of society that at the turn of the 20th to the 21st century, precisely what Solovyev describes as the apocalyptic precursor of the Antichrist. And there is so what it is you have the conversations that go on. And Solovyev is the person narrating, eavesdropping. You have a general. He's does a Christ-serving and worthy Russian militancy exist or not? You have a politician who stretching himself on his deck chair and speaking in a tone that reminds one of something between careless gods Epicurus or a Prussian officer in old Voltaire. Does a Russian army exist? Obviously it exists. And surely you haven't heard that it is dismissed. And there are other people in the conversation. Let's see if I can find him. Mr. Z is another person in the conversation. And Solovyev said he was a listener, silent listener to all those. And the Baroness Lutter and Mr. Steed, politician, is asked by the lady. And the general gets angry. Politician remarked and causes Mr. Z to collapse with laughter. And at the very end, you have the rise of the Antichrist. War and Christianity. The third book I got because Jason Harrigan pointed me to this book. And, since I was interested in Russian history, he pointed me to this book. And it came out in 2020. This is the Return of Holy Russia, Apocalyptic History, Mystical Awakening, and the Struggle for the Soul of the World by Gary Lachman. And this is printed by Inner Traditions in Rochester, Vermont. Gary Lachman has written several of these books. There's a list right there. And it says, at the turn of the 20th century, a period known as the Silver Age, Russia was undergoing a powerful spiritual and cultural rebirth. There was a time of magic and mysticism was saw emergent vital resurgence of interest in the occult and the creative intensity not seen in the West since the Renaissance. This was the time of the God-seekers, pilgrims of the soul, and explorers of the spirit who sought in salvation of the world through art and ideas. These stages and their vision for Holy Russia was returned to prominence now through Russian President Vladimir Putin, who inspired their ideas and visions of new Eurasian civilization with Russia as its leader. Gary Lachman examines Russia's unique position between East and West, potential role in the future of the world. Lachman discusses Russia's original Slavic paganism and its eager adoption of mystical apocalyptic Eastern Orthodox Christianity, explores the Silver Age and his cult revival, which will look at Rasputin's prophecies and the philosophies of Berdyaev and Solovyev. That's the third time I mentioned this guy. And where am I? Okay. Oh. He looks at the Russian Rosicrucianism, Illuminati scare, Russian Freemasonry, the rise of other secret societies in Russia, explores the Russian characters as a holy fool, seeing the great Russian literature of the 19th century, especially Dostoevsky. Also examines psychic research performed by the Russian government through the 20th century and the influence of Ebola and the center right on the spiritual political menus. In-depth exploration of philosophy that inspires Putin's political regime and look like Russia's unique cultural identity. So this is a very interesting book. So that's The Return of Holy Russia, Apocalyptic History, Mystical Awakening, and Struggle for the Soul of the World by Gary Lachman. Well, thank you very much for watching, and like and subscribe, and take care.